Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So we do know Manchester United have got a big game tomorrow evening against Manchester City at Old Trafford. As you did see earlier on, I did do a Manchester United Manchester City preview of course as well, but this is going to be a big game for Manchester United of course. Obviously we do know Manchester City of course are going to be the favourites as well. But potentially, I've just watched some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, building up to the game and all that. And obviously, he was reflecting on yesterday's result against Everton as well. And it was a very disappointing performance for Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. Losing by 4 goals to 0 at Goodison Park as well. I think that's like our heaviest defeat in 3 years, something like that. I think that's the first time we've lost 5 away from home, since 1981 or something like that. So potentially, the majority of the blame, based on the recent run of the results and the recent performances as well, the majority of the blame, is on the players, to be quite honest, because you've got to question the mentality of the players. They have to take responsibility as well. But some of the blame, does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because some of his tactics are questionable as well. But since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got the job on a full-time basis as Manchester United manager, the players have just showed no passion, they've showed no heart, they've showed no desire, and they're not playing for the club, and they're not playing for the badge at the moment as well. But the majority of these Manchester United players that have got to really step up to the plate and put a performance in tomorrow evening against Manchester City as well. So as I did potentially say to you guys, I've just watched some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference as I said. Believe it or not, in our last 18 games, last 18 games, we have got a good record, to be quite honest with you, because in our last 18 games, it is only Manchester City and Liverpool, that have gained more points than Manchester United. And I would say, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been at Manchester United, I would say, the 2 worst performances was obviously, the game that weekend against Everton, and I would say the Wolves game in the Cup as well, when we did potentially, lose by 2 goals to 1 as well. But potentially, for this Manchester City game, a lot of it, I've been hearing a lot of people, saying Manchester United, should drop the problematic players and, give the youth the chance as well. For me, we can't risk the youth against Manchester City, to be quite honest with you as well. Obviously, we do know now that Manchester United have currently got 4 games left, of course, and every single one of these 4 games are very pivotal for Manchester United, because obviously, we do want to get top 4. Obviously, we want Champions League football for next season, so we can attract players to the highest level as well, because obviously you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, we've got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window as well, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing, and I think, we do need to get the right players that have got the ability, to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years as well. Obviously, we still know the club looking to hire a director of football to come in as well, but I still think we're at least 3 or 4 years off being that competitive elite level football club, of course, as was under Alex Ferguson. But I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even though we have lost 6 of our last 8 games as well. I still think he's the right man for Manchester United. I still think he can take Manchester United forward, because obviously, don't forget, he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, of course. Because obviously, we didn't spend out in January, we didn't spend much last summer as well, and we didn't get as priority targets last summer. So I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and let's be honest, our recruitment policy is very poor, to be quite honest with you as well. But I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a better fit for this squad than what currently Jose Mourinho was as well. But let's not forget, none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, to be quite honest, because he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. There's still some players here from Louis van Gaal as well, and reportedly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to get a spending spree this summer of around £250 million, and I think he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club. He is expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out as well. But we are coming up against one of the best teams in England tomorrow evening in Manchester City, because we do know they're a well-established club. The philosophy is very good. They've got a good manager as well. The playing staff's very good. They've got great players as well. Manchester City have spent a lot of money, and the majority of the money Pep Guardiola has spent has obviously being on that Manchester City team, as we all know. Potentially, City, of course, as I did say on my preview, obviously, are going for their fourth league title, as we all know as well. They're going for the fourth league title. So, for my preference now, I would rather Manchester City win the league, than Liverpool, to be quite honest with you, because obviously we do know that Manchester City cannot win the quadruple. Potentially, they can still potentially, win the treble, because obviously they've already won the Carabao Cup this season. Obviously, they're in the FA Cup final as well, and obviously, they can still potentially, win the Premier League. If City win every game from now to the end of the season, of course, they are currently champions as well. But this game tomorrow evening, could prove decisive, who currently wins the league at the end of the season as well. The good news is for Manchester United, of course, that Manchester City, of course, have got Kevin De Bruyne out, I think, because I think he came off during Manchester City's 1-0 victory at Tottenham at the weekend as well. So I don't think potentially, Kevin De Bruyne, will be in contention. David Silva is a very, very good player for Manchester City. He didn't play at the weekend. Benjamin Mendy didn't play at the weekend, I don't think, and Vincent Kompany, didn't play at the weekend as well. So them that trio, should be available, to play against us tomorrow evening as well. But potentially, yeah, we do know how much of a difficult game, this is going to be for Manchester United. As I said, Manchester City, are a really, really good team indeed. And as I did say, I'd rather them, win the league, to be quite honest with you, than Liverpool, to be quite honest with them as well. This fixture at Old Trafford last season, was 2-1 to Manchester City, but Manchester United, did beat them at the Etihad by 3-2 last season. It also was a 3-1 earlier on in the season as well. So we're going to the team news now, as I did do on my Q&A preview. The good news is, obviously, we do know that Luke Shaw now is available for Manchester United after he has missed the last couple of games, because obviously Luke Shaw has missed the last couple of games due to suspension, and we do know Luke Shaw is very, very young. He's still young indeed. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him, and we do know he's our first choice left back as well, and we do know he shows that ability to attack. He does make them overlapping runs on that left hand side as well. So we do potentially know that Luke Shaw has been missed for Manchester United, so he's going to be available, which is very, very good news. Phil Jones is currently injured, so he won't be participating as well. Eric Bailly, I think he's still out with a concussion. Is Eric Bailly, as it does reportedly say. Eric Bailly, of course, has been in and out of the team this season, as I did say. If a new centre back is to come in this summer, Eric Bailly, his future, could be in serious doubt, because he hasn't really been given the opportunity. Eric Bailly, since Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has been recommended in. So potentially, I don't think Eric Bailly, will participate in. The good news is as well that Ander Herrera is going to be available as well, because Ander Herrera has now recovered from his injuries. Ander Herrera, and I think he'll be great in our midfield. I think he'll make an impact, and I think he'll be very, very influential indeed. Ander Herrera, to be quite honest with you. So Manchester United, Ander Herrera, should be involved in the game tomorrow evening as well. I think potentially, Valencia is still out as well. But for me, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should drop some players. To be quite honest with you, he don't start Ashley Young tomorrow evening. I don't want him to start Ashley Young tomorrow evening. I also want Matic to be dropped as well, because he was very, very poor against Everton at the weekend. And he's very, very ineffective in that midfield. To be quite honest with you, and I have got strong reservations about the Nemanja Matic. Plus, he's aging up as well. So potentially for me, I think Fred, would be a much, much better solution, than the Nemanja Matic, to be quite honest with you. And I have been known, for criticising Fred, to be quite honest with him as well. But I think most recently, he's really stepped up to the plate as Fred. He's been supporting the defence very, very well. He's been feeding players ahead of him really, really well as well. And for me, he's probably more mobile and better on the ball, than the Nemanja Matic, to be quite honest with you. So Fred is a better solution than the Nemanja Matic. I also wouldn't start Sanchez in this game, even though we do know that Sanchez is available, of course, as well, because obviously Sanchez has just recently, recovered from an injury. Obviously, he didn't play against Everton at the weekend, but it's also wants to select Sanchez. He wants to select Sanchez, but he has no future at the club, does Alexis Sanchez, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, he's been here about, 15, 16 months now, he has sustained, quite a few injuries, of course, but when he has been given the opportunity, he just looks so inconsistent. It just looks as though, he hasn't been getting the freedom, Sanchez, he hasn't been getting the freedom. He's looked so restricted, of course, as well, and he's lacked goals as Alexis Sanchez, and that's not good enough, for a player that's currently the highest highest paid player in the Premier League. He's also the highest paid player at the club as well. So that's not good enough, to be quite honest. So as I did say, what currently he's earning, it's totally affecting our wage structure in a bad way, because obviously, we've got quite a few players now, that are demanding, quite a bit more money as well. So I think he's one of the players that are likely to leave Manchester United in the summer. So potentially, I wouldn't start Alexis Sanchez. Of course, Sanchez is no longer playing to the highest level now. He's lost that yard of pace. He's age 30 as well. So I wouldn't start Sanchez in this game. As for Juan Mata, of course, he's no longer, playing to the highest level, of course, as well. Don't get me wrong, he has been a good servant to the club as Juan Mata, to be quite honest with you. But obviously, he's no longer playing to the highest level. He is age 30 now. He has lost that yard of pace as well. And we do know mainly he isn't a first choice anywhere. He's Juan Mata as well. But he's been a good servant to the club, as I said. This is his 5th season at United. He's been here since the David Moyes era, because Manchester United, I think, paid around, £40 million to him from Chelsea, was it, back in 2014? But overall, he's got a really, really good pedigree in the Premier League, so he could be likely to leave Manchester United in the summer as well. I also wouldn't play Lukaku in this game as well, because for me, I don't think he's good enough, to represent Manchester United, to be quite honest with you, Romelu Lukaku. And Romelu Lukaku, this is now his 2nd season at Manchester United, of course, but for me, he's just not good enough, to represent Manchester United, and I wouldn't start him in this game, because we do know that he's a big game bottler. His finishing isn't good enough, and I don't think he's reliable enough, Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest with you. His finishing's poor, he doesn't really, get enough of them runs in behind, to be quite honest with you as well. And, I think potentially, Lukaku again, was very, very poor at the weekend against Everton, which is currently his former club. And we know initially that Marcus Rashford is first choice ahead of Lukaku as well. But potentially Manchester United, paid quite a bit of money for him, we paid £75 million for him, plus 15 million in add-ons. He's still got 3 years left on his deal as Romelu Lukaku, and he has got his goal scoring form very, very good, don't get me wrong, so I'll credit him in that aspect, and his pedigree in the Premier League is really, really good. But we did pay £75 million for him, plus 15 million in add-ons, and he's still got 3 years left on his deal, as I said, and I think he's on about £250,000 a week, and I think Manchester United are considering, sanctioning Romelu Lukaku off this summer. I think there has been quite a few teams that have expressed an interest in him. I think if he was to leave the club this summer, I think, he would be, his preferred destination, would be to Juventus as well. But Manchester United, of course, will be looking to recruit the initial £75 million for him, we paid for him, from Everton back in 2017 as well. And recently, his agent has revealed that, his future is very, very open indeed. So this is what his agent currently said. I think it was most recently, to be quite honest with you as well. So potentially, I wouldn't play Lukaku in this game. So these quite a few players, I would drop, to be quite honest with you. But as I did say, for this Manchester City game, there's a majority of these players, that have got to really, really step up to the plate, to be quite honest. And as I did say, there has been quite a few players, saying that we should give the youngsters the opportunity, for the remainder of these 4 games. But we definitely can't risk playing, the youth against a team like Manchester City. We do know this current squad at the moment, is not reliable, based on their, bad run of performances, to be quite honest with you. And as I did currently say, the players that really, really do need to step up to the plate, to be quite honest with you, Rashford's got to step up to the plate, Martial's got to step up to the plate, Lingard's got to step up to the plate as well, because Rashford has been very inconsistent, at least for the last couple of months now, and I do know, he has suffered, quite a few injuries as Marcus Rashford, as we all know, and I think it's taken its toll on him, and it has had a bad effect on his game, to be quite honest. But for me, he hasn't graduated to that level yet, Marcus Rashford, it could still take him at least a couple of years, to emulate to that level, Marcus Rashford is still 21, he has still got immense talent as well, but at least for the last couple of months, his performances have been way below par as well. Martial, again, he's been very, very poor indeed, because early on this season, Martial, was in a really, really good form, for Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. But, his most recent performances, have been way below par, to be quite honest with you. But he's 23, he's still got immense talent, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him as well. But he's failed to replicate, in the last couple of months at least, what he did earlier on in the season, because I did say, he was in good form earlier on in the season as well. Jesse Lingard himself, he's risen up the Manchester United ranks and all that, so he's supposed to know what it's all about. Is Jesse Lingard, and we do know what he can be capable of on that right hand side, because he has proven it in the past, fantastically well as Jesse Lingard. But at least for the last couple of months, he's been very inconsistent indeed as Jesse Lingard. But I still think the likes of Jesse Lingard, Rashford and Martial, are the long-term solution for Manchester United. They are the short-term problem at the moment, and maybe you are going to get a few Manchester Manchester United fans saying, that we should rest them, for quite a while, to be quite honest, based on their poor run of performances. But for me, they are still the long-term solution for Manchester United. And potentially as well, Paul Pogba's performances have got to really step up as well. Because let's be honest, he has been one of our most influential players, overall since Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has come in. But I think at least for the least like last 5 or 6 games, he has been very inconsistent indeed as Paul Pogba. And potentially, he's supposed to be one of the best midfielders in world football, and he's currently a World Cup winner as well. But most recently, he has not failed to replicate that form, Paul Pogba as well. I don't know why his performances have been very poor, to be quite honest with you. We do know, obviously, there's been a lot of rumours, linking him with the move to Real Madrid, and recent reports have just come out saying that reportedly he has told teammates that reportedly, he wants to leave Manchester United this summer, and I think he's intending on making a move to Real Madrid, his Paul Pogba, because there has been a lot of rumours going on about it. I think there were rumours last year linking him with a move to Barcelona. There has also been talk, that he could potentially, make a return back to his former club, Juventus, as well. But I think Manchester United are set to begin contract negotiations with him, to get him a new contract. He did reportedly say as well that Manchester United are willing to offer him the captain's armband on a full-time basis, to convince him to stay at the club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think, has potentially, had negotiations with Paul Pogba, and from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perspective, he insists that Paul Pogba is focused on United and he will not leave Manchester United. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is convinced that he will still be a Manchester United player next season, because Paul Pogba's still got over 2 years left on his deal. There's an option of a further year as well. But recent reports came out, came out quite a few weeks back saying that if he was to remain loyal to Manchester United, if he was to sign a new contract with the club, he was demanding an astronomical salary of around £500,000 a week, was Paul Pogba as well. But as I did say, he's still got over 2 years left on his deal. There's an option of a further year as well, and he's heading into his 4th season now as a Manchester United player, is Paul Pogba as well. Obviously our most expensive signing, of course, we paid £89 million for him, but I think, he could rise to this occasion against Manchester City, could Paul Pogba, and, he could put a performance in as well. So I really hope he does, to be quite honest with you. But Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of Paul Pogba, as we all know, and Zinedine Zidane is emphasising his targets for this summer, but one of his targets, of course, is Paul Pogba as well. But I'm still convinced he'll probably be a Manchester United player in the new season as well. But as I did currently say, yeah, there's quite a few players, that do really need to step up to the plate, to be quite honest with you as well. As I did currently say, players are definitely going to leave Manchester United in the summer. But as I did say as well, I haven't been impressed with De Gea lately as well, and he's got to step up to the plate. Even though we still potentially know he's the best goalkeeper in the world, is David De Gea. Potentially, he has made quite a few mistakes recently. I don't know if it's something to do with the contract issue with David De Gea. Obviously, David De Gea has been a good servant to the club, because this is what David De Gea's 8th season now at Manchester United. Of course, he has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions as well. Recent reports came out quite a few weeks back saying that he was demanding wages of around £350,000 a week, was David De Gea, if he was to sign a new contract with the club. Reportedly, Manchester United were not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. Currently, De Gea at the moment in his current deal is on I think he's on about £200,000 a week. So potentially De Gea is demanding a £150,000 pay rise, but he's still under contract with Manchester United till 2020, of course. And I hope, David De Gea, does commit his long-term future in Manchester United, and I hope that he does sign a new contract, to be quite honest, because we do know Real Madrid, of course, have been long admirers of David De Gea. Of course, this is now as I did say, this is David De Gea's 8th season, but Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him in 2015. Recent reports, did say PSG were also interested in David De Gea as well. So we have not yet come to an agreement, to get him a new contract as well. But as I did currently say, we are expected to orchestrate a big summer clear-out, as I said, and I think maybe up to at least 6 players, could leave Manchester United this summer. We know that Valencia is on his way out of the club as well, because obviously, we opted against that decision, to give him that new 1-year extension. I don't think, I can't remember the last time Valencia played. Obviously, he's lost his place in the team anyway. I think he's still injured at the moment with a calf injury, but he's been a long-serving player here. I think this is now his 10th season now at Manchester United. He's on Antonio Valencia's as well. And I think he has made over 300 odd appearances, for the club in all competitions, as well as Antonio Valencia. But he's set to leave on a free transfer when his contract expires at the end of the season as well. Ashley Young definitely, needs to go as well. I think it was bad business from the club, giving him that new 1-year extension as well. Because over the years, Ashley Young has been a good servant to Manchester United. This is now his 8th season at the club. He has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. But as I did currently say now, we just still know he's our first choice right back is Ashley Young. I hope he doesn't play tomorrow, to be quite honest with you. Because he's making now the same mistakes, week in, week out. It's too easily predictable. He gets exploited far too easily as well. So I want him out of Manchester United in the summer as well. I think definitely, Smalling and Jones, need to leave Manchester United this summer as well, because for me, the likes of Smalling and Jones are just not good enough anymore, to represent Manchester United. And don't forget, both our age and up, to be quite honest with you. I think Phil Jones is E27 or something like that. I can't remember how old Smalling is, E28 or 29 or something like that. But we do know, obviously, they've been long-serving players at the club. This is Smalling's 9th season at Manchester United. I think Smalling has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. And to be fair, he's most of his part, he has improved, since he recovered from that long-term absence, because obviously we know Solsjaker's been mainly going with Smalling and Lindelof as centre-back partnership, of course. But I think it was a bad mistake, and it was bad business, from the club, giving Smalling a new long-term contract, giving Jones a new long-term contract as well. I think Jones has been here a good 8 years as well, so I think potentially, them two need to leave in the summer. Marcus Rojo, for me, his career has been affected, the amount of injuries he's suffered as a Manchester United player, of course. We do know really that he doesn't really get the opportunity anywhere, so I think he could be on his way out in the summer. Matteo Darmian, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time as a Manchester United player as well as Matteo Darmian, so I think potentially he could be on his way out in the summer. And I think if he is to leave Manchester United this summer, from his own preference, I think he would be interested in making a return back to Italy, because when he was younger, he spent the majority of his career in Italy as well, did Matteo Darmian. But I think this is now his 4th season at the club, Matteo Darmian's. I think we got him from Torino in 2015 for just over £12 million, was it? Or something like that as well. So I think potentially, he's on his way out of the club in the summer as well. So yeah, a catalogue of players, are going to leave Manchester United this summer. In relation to Ander Herrera, I don't know what's happening with him yet. Obviously, if Herrera is to leave, Manchester United are emphasising, a couple of targets, that could potentially, replace Ander Herrera this summer. Potentially for me, we probably do need at least, for me, I think we need a couple of additions in midfield, to be quite honest with you, especially if Herrera, does leave. But Herrera overall has been one of our most influential players under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he's going to be in contention, to play against Manchester City, which is very, very good news. Well, looking likely anywhere, because obviously most recently, he hasn't been playing under Herrera, because he has currently been injured. We do potentially, allegedly said that he has agreed a deal to join PSG on a free transfer, and I think it's a 3-year deal worth around £150,000 a week. Reports did currently say he was demanding, allegedly, should I say, he was demanding around £200,000 a week from Manchester United, if he was to sign a new contract, if he was to remain loyal to the club as well. And he has been a good servant to the club. This is his 5th season out at Manchester United under Herrera's. I think he's made about 187 appearances for the club, and we did pay around £30 million for him from Atletico Bilbao, was it, back in 2014 as well. But potentially, I think, when he plays in that midfield, he's a big difference. When he's playing to his potential best, he's like two players in one is under Herrera, to be quite honest, and he's better midfielders out there than him. I'd love him to stay at Manchester United, of course, and hopefully somewhere along the line, I'd love Manchester United to come to an agreement, to get him a new contract, because Manchester United have been in, negotiations and getting him a new contract, but allegedly reports did say he has agreed a deal to join PSG as well. So as I did currently say, there's still lots to sort out Manchester United. Of course, we've got to rebuild in the summer. As I did currently say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club in the summer. He's identified the positions, where he thinks Manchester United needs strengthening up, but you can potentially see the deficiencies in the squad. He can pinpoint out the areas, where we are lacking, of course, but Solskjaer, wants to buy into our history, of course, as well. And potentially, as I did currently say, a lot of money's been spent in Manchester United since Ferguson retired. I think about £700 million, is it something like that, has been spent, since Alex Ferguson retired as well. But none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't forget as well. None of his squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, don't forget as well. So he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, to be quite honest with you. And we do know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the job permanently, we do basically know that we have been seeing, element of the performances, that we saw under Jose Mourinho and all that as well. But I still think he's the right man, that can take Manchester United forward. It has all gone wrong, since he has got the job permanently, to be quite honest with you, because reflecting, as I did say, when he was the interim manager of the club in his first 3 months, the performances were good, the results were good, he exceeded expectations and everything. It's just seemed to have all gone wrong, since he has got the job on a full-time basis. And obviously we know it's a 3-year deal he's got. Obviously his expectation levels are going to be, in this 3-year period, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is to get Manchester United, back to the powerhouse as we was under Alex Ferguson, and get us up there, get us back up there, being a competitive elite level football club, and get us up there, challenging, of course, and winning trophies as well. But obviously it's essential that we've got to get the right recruitment in the summer. But the potential players, like Manchester United, of course, have been linked with as well, as I have been updating you on. Recent reports have been coming out today saying that Manchester United have been linked with the likes of Solsjaker, Declan Rice, and Joao Felix as well. So they are also potential Manchester United targets. Solsjaker, he's been mentioned, quite a few times in the media. And if Herrera is to leave the club this summer, we probably would emphasise him as a potential possible, we would emphasise him as a replacement, for Amanda Herrera. Solsjaker is 24 years of age, as we all know. He's Spanish. Of course, he plays for Atletico Madrid. He is versatile because he can play as defensive mid. He can also play as central mid, and he can also play on the right hand side as well. And he has spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. I think he's gone to make over 200 appearances for Atletico Madrid, but he's going to cost quite a bit of money, if Man United, do want to get him this summer, because I think he's got a release clause in his deal with Atletico Madrid of around £128 million as well. And I think City have been interested in Solsjaker as well. So there has been talks about him going on in the media. But I think he's versatile. He can play as defensive mid, he can play as central mid, he can also play on the right as well. So he is versatile. He is versatile, is this Solsjaker as well. As I did say, Declan Rice, there has been talks about him going on as well. And I think, he's available for a reasonable figure. If West Ham, were willing to do any business for Declan Rice this summer, they would demand that. They want around £50 million for the player. Declan Rice has grown, developed and flourished, fantastically well, with West Ham. And his performances have been very, very good this season under Manuel Pellegrini. He signed a new contract with West Ham back in December, was it, until 2024. As well. But yeah, his performances have been very, very good this season for West Ham. I think he's mainly defensive midfielder. He can play as a centre-back, but I think he's mainly defensive midfielder, and he's one of England's youngest upcoming talents, and he's only 20 years of age as well. So there has been talks about him going on as well. Joao Felix, he's also been spoken about in the media as well. And Manchester United, of course, have instructed scouts, to keep a close eye out on Joao Felix as well, because I do really, really like Joao Felix. I think his performances have been really, really good, since he has broken into the Benfica first team. Of course, he's only 19 years of age as well, but he has tied it up fantastically well in Portugal. He's also versatile as well. I don't think he's yet made his senior debut for Portugal. So do you think a player like Joao Felix, would be the right solution for Manchester United? And do you think, he'd complement our team very, very well indeed? Reportedly, he's got a buyout clause of around £100 million, but his performances have been very, very good for Benfica indeed. We do know there's been a lot of talk, going on about Bruno Fernandes, as I have been updating you on a regular basis, about Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, of course, is 24 years of age. He's also Portuguese as well, and he's been doing very, very well in Portugal. I think he's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of years now, to be quite honest with you. But reports have been stemming from Portugal, saying that Manchester United have reportedly, been in negotiations with his representatives over a summer transfer, of course. Bruno Fernandes has reportedly got a 90 million release clause in his deal with Sporting Lisbon as well. But there has been a lot of talk, going on about Bruno Fernandes as well. I think he's got a contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023 as well. He's actually a former Sampdoria player. He's also a former Udinese player as well. So do you think potentially, either Bruno Fernandes or Joao Felix, would be the right solution for Manchester United? Perhaps, maybe not both of them, but do you think one of them, would be the right solution for Manchester United as well? Because I've analysed, some of the performances. Bruno Fernandes' performances have been good in Portugal. Joao Felix League's performances have been very, very good in Portugal as well. And Manchester United have also instructed scouts, to keep a close eye out on Bruno Fernandes as well. So there has been a lot of talk, going on about him. Potentially in the summer, possibly, Manchester United, need a backup striker. If Lukaku is to leave this summer, obviously, we're going to have to find a replacement for Romelu Lukaku as well. And we do potentially, there's been talks going on about Wilfried Zaha as well. And from Roy Hodgson's perspective, he's happy at Crystal Palace. He's Wilfried Zaha. Recent reports did say that I think he's valued at around £80 million. I think this is what Crystal Palace, would want for Wilfried Zaha, if they were willing to do any business, for Wilfried Zaha this summer. Wilfried Zaha, I think, is 26 years of age, of course, as well, but his performances have been very, very good for Crystal Palace, to be quite honest, especially under Roy Hodgson. Indeed, obviously, he's a former Manchester United player himself, when he was younger. I think he did serve a couple of years at the club, but I don't think he ever got into the first team. And I think I can't remember if he ever broke into the team or out, but I think if he did it would only 3 or 4 appearances. Wilfried Zaha currently made, but he did serve a couple of years at Manchester United. Did Wilfried Zaha? It actually was one of Alex Ferguson. It was Alex Ferguson's last signing before he announced his retirement at the end of that season. Alex Ferguson as well. I think Manchester United, of course, paid around £10 million for him. Wilfried Zaha actually initially began his career with Crystal Palace, risen up the youth system with Palace. Then he came to Manchester United for a couple of years, and I think he went back to Palace. I think he also went to Cardiff on loan as well. So potentially, he has played under Ole Gunnar Solsjaker as Wilfried Zaha, of course, when Wilfried Zaha, was on loan with Cardiff as well. And then potentially, I think then he signed for Crystal Palace permanently in 2015. Reports did say a while back that allegedly Manchester United have got some kind of clause in his deal, which means potentially, if we were to go for him in the summer, we would get him, for a reasonable figure. We would get him for a reasonable figure. Reportedly, it did say Manchester United would get 25% of the profit. Crystal Palace, would get, from selling him, of course, as well. So potentially, there has been talks about Wilfried Zaha, and recent reports did potentially say that Wilfried Zaha basically, wants to leave Crystal Palace because he wants to play at the highest level and he wants to be involved in Champions League football as well. So there has also, been talks about that going on as well. But yeah, there's been quite a few other targets, that Manchester United have been interested in as well. And we do potentially, the club's number one priority target is obviously, Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, of course, as well. But obviously, he's going to cost Manchester United at least around £100 million this summer. And that's if he's currently for sale as well. Because from Borussia Dortmund's perspective, they know how much an essential player, that Jadon Sancho is to them as well. Financially, Borussia Dortmund would make a huge profit on the player if they were willing to sell him this summer, because Borussia Dortmund only paid about £7-8 million for Manchester City a couple of years ago as well. But potentially we do know he's going to cost around £100 million this summer. Of course, we do know that Manchester United have got the financial power, to meet his valuation. He is one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. He has just recently, turned 19 years of age, but we do need someone on that right-hand side, that can put crosses into the box, play between the bylines, and, potentially, Jadon Sancho can do this, and he's proven himself fantastically well in Germany, with Borussia Dortmund. He has got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022 as well, but there has been a narrative going on about this now for the least 6 or 7 weeks, something like that as well. So potentially, I still think is the club's number one priority target is Jadon Sancho. Recent reports did currently reveal that reportedly, from his own perspective, Jadon Sancho is interested in making a return back to Manchester, because obviously he is a former Manchester City player where he did serve a couple of years, but I don't think he ever got into the first team. He was never guaranteed, to play regularly Jadon Sancho as well in the first team, and this is the main reason why I did leave Manchester City. But if we were to come to an agreement to get him in the summer, of course, it would make him the most expensive English footballer ever as well. So I still think potentially, he's the club's number one priority target. But potentially, we do know potentially, the most essential thing is, of course, as well. Obviously, we do know that Manchester United, of course, have got to get a central defender in the summer as well. And we've been linked to quite a few central defenders, to be quite honest. And we do know potentially, Toby Alderweireld, there has been a lot of talks about him going on as well. And for me, he would be a good upgrade in our defensive. Currently, what we've got at the moment, Alderweireld, and he is a much cheaper alternative to the likes of Koulibaly, Rafael Varane, and all that. He's nowhere near the same calibre calibre or same kind of level as Koulibaly and Rafael Varane, but we do know that Alderweireld is a much cheaper alternative, to be quite honest, because we do know that he's available for £25 million this summer is Alderweireld, and of course I think he'd be a good leader in our back line, and we do need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof as well, but I still think Alderweireld, would be a good leader in our back line. As I said, he's well Premier League proven. He is age 30 now, so we probably wouldn't get that long out of him, to be quite honest with you, and he's just recently turned 30 not too long ago, and I have got strong reservations about him, to be quite honest with you. He has lost that yard of pace as Alderweireld as well. Blatantly wants to leave Tottenham this summer, I think, because obviously he has refused to sign a new contract with Tottenham as well as Toby Alderweireld, so potentially he could be possibly on his way out this summer, but that's his release clause, 25 million, because Tottenham, I think, potentially, triggered a 12-month extension back in January, and included this 25 million release clause as well. He's mainly a central defender, but I think he can actually operate as a right back as well. But I know a lot of Manchester United fans, would like the likes of Rafael Varane to come in, or Koulibaly, to come in as well. The top class, world class central defenders as well. But it doesn't always work like that, because you can't get every player you want in football as well, and that's just the way football is. To be quite honest with you as well. As long as we get the right signings in the summer, of course, as well. I don't particularly care. To be quite honest with you. As I said, though, as long as we get the right signings in the summer, I'm not too harsh, to be quite honest with you as well. But as I did currently say, I still think, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United. As I did currently say, we know he hasn't got, he hasn't got the experience, he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree and all that. But I still believe he's the right man for Manchester United. Of course, that he knows the club inside out as well. And obviously, when he did manage the Manchester United reserve team, obviously he watched some of this team at this day and age now, grow and develop as well. So he does know about the club, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And we have lost 6 of our last 8 games as well, so potentially we've got 4 games left now. We've got City coming up, Chelsea coming up as well, which is going to be a very, very difficult game. That's going to be a difficult game, but we've got 4 games left now. As I said, every single one of these games are pivotal, because obviously we want to get that top 4. We want Champions League football for next season as well. So in that aspect, it can make us have more of a competitive summer window and attract players to the highest level, because obviously players at the highest level want to be participating in Champions League football as well. So potentially I still think probably maybe next season, even if we are to rebuild this summer, I still think potentially next season our aspirations could still potentially be top 4, because as I did say, we are still at least maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 years off that competitive elite level football club as we was under Alex Ferguson as well. But as I just wanted to give you an update on this video, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, just as I did say, I've watched some of his press conference, to be quite honest with you, he was reflecting on the game at the weekend. Obviously, from Solskjaer's preference and my preference, and a lot of Manchester United fans' preferences as well. Obviously, the 2 worst performances so far since he's been at Manchester United. Solskjaer is obviously the Wolves game in the FA Cup and the game against Everton at the weekend. But it's a pretty good record, to be quite honest with you, because as he did currently say, Solskjaer, in our last 18 games, it is only City and Liverpool, of course, who are the top 2 in the table. I've obviously gained more points than Manchester United as well, indeed. So yeah, potentially, we'll see what happens in this Manchester City game as well. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a mouth-watering clash indeed. Obviously, City are going to be the favourites to win the game. But as I did say, this could prove decisive tomorrow. Of course, prove decisive today, should I say, because it's 12:30 now. Who currently wins the league at the end of the season as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.